Hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of Winning Mantras. Today we have with us national winners of Amazon ACE Challenge, that is Amazon Customer Excellence Challenge 2020 from I am Lucknow. We have with us Manapreet, Gurjot, Radhika and Shubhendu. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us today. How have you all been doing during the lockdown and how have you been spending your time?
Hi, thank you for introducing us. This has been a pretty different time to say. Everything has fallen apart. Whatever plans we had for this year have changed. But yeah, one thing hasn't changed, and that is we are constantly thinking of innovating in one way or the other. The competitions are happening the same way it was last year, and somehow we are able to actually participate virtually through them. So yeah, things are different, but some things are also the same. If we talk about the rigor at IML and all those academic exams, tests, so all these things are the same.
Absolutely. I think we're all trying to sail through the situation and make it to the other end, and I hope that we will soon. But there's been one exciting event during this entire lockdown, and that was the point where you won the competition, Amazon Customer Excellence Challenge 2020. So, how did that feel? And I'm sure it would have been very exciting and very thrilling, especially because you guys were all at home and participating in that competition virtually. How was that feeling? And then I would like you to talk about Amazon Customer Excellence Challenge. What was that about?
Uh, okay, so I'll represent the team in this because we all share some emotions which are common to all of us. So frankly speaking, we invested a lot of time in this competition. But we never knew that we will be able to win at the national level. We always expected that something is coming for us. To say honestly that we expected winning at national level, no, we didn't. So when we actually got that result displayed on the screen, the first thing I guess almost all of us cried. It was virtual tear again. No, no one could see that, but we were in conversation parallelly on a WhatsApp group, and there was the constant emotion of happiness, hearts, and smiles all over the group. I have never seen our group getting so excited ever before. And the only thing we missed was we should have been together at that point of time to celebrate that win. Even if this was virtual from the campus, that would have been much better. But yeah, going to Bangalore and participating at Amazon's office would have been even more good for us. But yeah, we all share that common happiness. We are still waiting to meet each other and celebrate this with.
I am very sure that you guys are going to meet soon on campus, at least by the end of this year. I hope things will open soon and the colleges will get back to normal. And till then, I hope that you guys got a chance to celebrate amongst yourself with your families at least. Okay, great. Now I would like you to talk about Amazon Customer Excellence Challenge 2020. What was the competition about and how was it structured? What were the different rounds of the competition?
So Amazon ACE 2020 this year was designed keeping in mind the fact that people were working virtually, and the the competition was structured in two parts. So there was a campus round, and then top teams from the top campuses of the country advanced to a nationals round. During the campus round, we were given a week between the case opening and a solution being invented by the team, and that was the same format followed for the national round as well. So, spanning almost across 20 days, it has been quite rigorous with multiple events and multiple milestones being set up by Amazon in terms of guidance for how we write cases, how do they do things at Amazon. So that guidance, along with giving us enough time to brainstorm, we went on to the campus rounds where we had select judges doing an entire day of intense and rigorous questioning before finalizing the winners from the campus round. And then we moved on with 13 teams towards the nationals, which was again a very rigorous and a long day of interactions with all the teams before the judges could arrive at a decision.
Okay, that is a very good description of the entire competition. Thank you so much for sharing that, Radhika. I hope that the upcoming participants of Amazon Ace we'll get a good idea of what the competition was all about. Now, I would like you to talk about and walk us through the entire thought process. How did you come up with an idea? What were the key aspects of creating a presentation? And what are the crucial aspects of working on a case solution?
Okay, so if I may pitch in here, Amazon does not believe in having presentations, right? So this is something which was very new to us as well. Our final deliverable was a document file, which had, let's say, a lot of text and a lot of shapes as such, but nothing too fancy. So while you think a typical case competition would involve making presentations and giving it a lot of animations, nothing was there. It was all content, and it was all based on the quality of suggestions that you give. So that is something which was very new to us as well. We've been taking part in case competitions throughout our whatever 1.5 years that we've spent in IML, but this was something which was new to us. And we required a lot of handholding in terms of having a lot of brainstorming sessions once in the morning, probably once in the night as well, considering that we had to juggle between our work assignments and projects. So that was a little tough. Then when we went to the case as such, so it was like Radhika told you, it was divided into two phases. So the campus round was about how do you identify the problem and the pain points, and a lot of solutions were something which we focused on in the phase 2, which was the national finals. So our entire structure was sort of broken into that, and because we had a lot of pain points identification in our phase 1, it was a little easier for us to just present the solutions as such. And when we were presenting those solutions, we were not very concerned about the scalability or the cost as such, because we knew for a company like Amazon, if the idea is good, they'll implement it. So that is what our approach was. We did not think of a resource constraint as such. We only focused on giving real life solutions which can be implemented if a person has those resources, and Amazon does. So that's something which helped us.
That's very interesting, the part where you mentioned that Amazon does not believe in presentations and all you had to do was submit a doc file. I think it's very crucial for everybody out there to know that if you are participating in future editions of Amazon Ace, you have to focus on making your solution feasible. Now, Shubhendu, you also talked about brainstorming ideas. How did you come up with your case solution? What all did you think about before you finally landed with one solution that you presented to the jury?
So I think that's where the diversity of the team, came into the picture. We right from school we are taught unity and diversity and stuff like that. So it's all good in books, but then the true practical implication of that is something which we learned here. So while all four of us are studying in IIM Lucknow, we have very different educational pedigree. We have very different work experience exposure. Our internships, summer internships, were in 4 different domains. So all of this is something which sort of helped us into giving not just one solution, but 8 to be precise. And because of that, I think both in terms of quality and quantity of the solutions that we had given is why we won. And that is what the juries also sort of focused on when they were giving us feedback during the presentation. So when we were talking about our document, they were telling us that, this is something which is really good. How did you think of this? How did you go about it? And that's majorly because we sort of divided the entire problems and solutions into 4 broad areas. So we have a marketing champion within our team, we have an operations champion within our team, we have a finance champion within our team, and we have a strategy champion within our team. So everybody was responsible for their particular domain, and they gave solutions for the same pain points from different domains. And whichever one we felt that, this is something which should definitely be documented, we picked up those ideas. So while let's say we had 25-30 solutions between us, we finalized 8 solutions which finally made it to the document, because it was a 2-pager document. You can't really present 10 slides, fancy slides. It's a 2-pager. So that's what we focused on, and the diversity really helped us.
It's amazing to see the number of solutions that you gave. 8 solutions for one case study. It's amazing. It's commendable. Now, on this note, I would also like to know what all did the jury expect from the participants, especially from the national finalists when you reach the finale. What all did the jury expect from the participants at that point in time when you had already submitted your solution? And what questions were they asking the participants?
Okay. So About the expectation of the jury, I would say if you think that you have a great idea and you are not able to write a good document, you are out of this competition. And similarly, on the other side, if you only know how to write a document and you do not have a good idea, you are again out of this competition. So for the jury, you will have to make a mix of both. Document writing is the most important part of this competition. If people tend to ignore this, they will face the consequences. They should understand that for Amazon, the document is just like a VRIO resource. So a document should be presented in such a way that a person who has written that document need not be present there to explain that to the jury. So because see, the format of this competition is very simple. The jury will first read the document without your presence. They may read it before the competition or during the event, and you will not be there to explain it to them. They will directly ask you Q&A. So there is no presentation round involved. So your document should be self-sufficient to explain everything you write. So make the document as simple as you can, so that even a person, if you are too technical and a person is judging from the marketing aspect, he or she should also know that what you have written in the operational side of the document. So it should be a document for everyone. So anyone who at Amazon can relate to it. The second thing I would say jury expects us is answering the questions with facts and not globing around the answers. So whatever the question is put forward, just be very specific. If you have done that part, refer to the appendix or wherever it is there in the document. If you have not written it but researched over it, you can directly quote a website or some link. And if you have not done anything at all, you should honestly accept that we haven't ventured towards this side of the document, and maybe in the next phase we will be able to look forward to that. So the expectations are very clear that you should be very specific. Don't use adjectives, use the numbers instead. So if you say high growth rate, write the number, that 10% growth rate or 20%, instead of using superlatives or adjectives to describe your solution.
I would also just like to add that Amazon as a company is obsessed with their customer. So we made sure that we keep the customer at the center. We did a great research work, I guess, that really impressed them, so that we could understand all the pain points, essentially what the customers have. So I think that is also one point that played a lot of importance for us. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's very crucial for all the participants to understand the company first before working on the case solution, because that plays a very pivotal role when you're working on your solutions. Now, when we come and when we talk of solutions, we often know that we face a lot of hurdles, we face a lot of obstacles when we're finally listing down the solutions that we are to present to the company. What roadblocks and obstacles did your team face, and how did you overcome those?
So see,
Yeah.
since this was an online setup, one of the things which we faced the major roadblock was coordination. So while all of us have electives in the second year, not all of us have classes at the same time. Not all of us have. We all have other commitments as well, and that is something which you have to complement each other. So that is what we did last time. So while like all of us would not have spent the same amount of time on the particular document, or let's say on the particular solution, but there was always a person there who, in our case Manadeep, but always a person there who would extensively work on the document, and there was no time within the deadline that was given to us wherein not a single person is not working on that document. So every time anybody was working on the document, that was something which was required. Online setup, you're not physically with each other, you don't know their schedules as well. So you try to let's say schedule a Zoom invite, and 3 out of 4 are available. So that is something which was a major roadblock. The other thing was there would always be a certain conflict of ideas. So let's say while I was, so in terms of designation, while I was the chief strategy officer, but I also have a finance background, and Radhika was our chief financial officer. So let's say the two of us had different ideas which required different implementation, and then both of us would sort of discuss and brainstorm for about 45-50 minutes, and then agree that both of us are wrong, and let's focus on the third idea. So that is something which we had to do. These were the conflicts which at least I felt personally. But yeah, Manadeep, if you wanted to add something.
Yeah, another conflict was that just like Shubhendu mentioned, that it was tough to assemble for all of us together. Some people had different night schedules. Some people used to sleep early. A person like me who wakes up early couldn't find anyone in the early morning. So I usually started working in the morning itself and then wait for others to give the better solutions. So again, everyone contributed in their own way. Shubhendu would come up with an Excel sheet and just send it to me because he knew I'll wake up in the morning and I'll check what everyone is doing. Radhika would send new ideas, so she would research a lot on the internet and come up with these other things. Which so it happened with us a lot of times. For the first 3 days, whatever we thought of was already implemented by Amazon. So Radhika was the one who told us that guys, this has been done already. Do not copy that idea. And then Gujot would come up with some innovative solution that let's try this thing in the marketing. Maybe this will help them in so whatever the case was. So we were focusing more on the MSMEs as the case suggested, and Gujot was always there for marketing aspect of it. So yeah, the major obstacle was that all four of us sometimes couldn't work at the same time, and then we had to compile our work online or on Google Docs to just see what someone else has done.
I think it's that hard work that paved the way to the trophy in the end. I think that's what helped you win the coveted title. Congratulations to this winning team again, and hats off for your hard work. It is all that counts in the end, I think. Also, guys, you have talked rigorously, have talked repeatedly about your hard work, about the competition, about the case solution that you presented, and about the documentation. What about the other winning teams? What about the other teams, the national finalists that presented their ideas in the grand finale? So, did any of their ideas take you by surprise?
To attend their Q&A sessions. It was kept exclusive to the judges and the presenting team. Therefore, we did not have an idea about what was the feedback that they had received. But towards the end, the judges did mention that each and every team did something unique, and everyone was thinking of the same thing from a very different aspect. So all the judges were also surprised to see that this exact same case had 13 different interpretations. So I think that was one of the things that we came to know in the end.
That's a very amazing thing to hear. I can say that because it's very difficult to come up with 8 solutions from your own team, and then the judges go on to say that there were so many different interpretations of the same case study. I cannot even imagine how diverse the case would have been. Now, on this note, why would you guys say that Amazon Ace competition, Amazon Ace Challenge, is different from all the other corporate competitions that are conducted around the year in these schools? What makes this competition special and different and unique?
Okay, so the first and the foremost thing which actually differentiates it is the document writing thing. So till now, for 1.5 years, all we did was make presentations, and this competition is very unique. Just like I mentioned, you only have 2 pages, so you might have 100 solutions, but you can't exceed even a single line and can't go to the third page. So you should know how to use that space well. What are the words you have to use? Just cut out everything which does not mean anything related to the case or background studies, and use appendix very well. So appendix is somewhere where you can put in your calculations, your tables, the research methodology you have followed. And that was important because I remember just 4 or 5 hours before the submission, we actually got it reviewed from some external sources to just see how it feels like to read our document. And that person was not able to interpret it the way we wanted it to be. So then we had to switch back and make it even more simpler. And that was another important exercise which was conducted by us both during the campus round and as well as during the national finals. Uh, Second thing which differentiates it is the heavy Q&A part. So you cannot escape by writing just anything or putting in any kind of photograph in your document or like presentation in other competitions and expect judges to not to see it or not to question you about it. So since it's uh, split of around 70% of the time is only taken up by Q&A and even more than that. So they take into consideration that every aspect is covered. They also refer to some lines which you have written in the document, and if you don't have proper explanation, then it might get tough at that point. Also, the number of jury members. This is something which I have never seen. 9 people in a panel evaluating you from different perspectives. Some panelists were commenting in the chat box while others were directly questioning us. So it was a wave of questions which was coming up to us. And yeah, it can be stressful at times, but when you know you have a proper backup with the research you have conducted, and just like Shubhendu mentioned, a diverse team. So I knew that if some question arises which is related to financial side, I'll just keep quiet and ask Radhika or Shubhendu to take that up. So we knew that diversity actually helped us to answer what kind of question is required. So yeah, and it is the best kind of a competition because you just cannot escape by writing anything and just copying it from the internet.
That's absolutely amazing. I think that is why Amazon Customer Excellence Challenge stands out from all the other competitions. And I am absolutely amazed by the part of document writing. I think that's very special, and that's what holds it apart from all the other corporate competitions for that matter. Now, Manadeep, you have already talked about Amazon Ace. I would also like you guys to talk about how a corporate competition is important for a B school participant, for a B school student. And why should a B school student participate in such corporate competitions? How does they help in shaping a B school student's life?
Sure. I really wanted this question to come up because I am trying to create a different wave in different colleges wherever I talk to people. The interpretation about case competition is very different from what the actual purpose is. People only do it for either a PPI or some cash rewards, but they do not see the actual thing which goes around these competitions. So I remember talking to some juniors, and all they would ask me uh, is it easy to win or is it tough to win? Then only they would register for that particular event. See, the major thing is you participate in as many competitions as you want. It shouldn't be like you are doing three at the same time. Then again, nothing will succeed because you will be spending your time and dividing it between three competitions. But yes, the learning which goes around these cases is too high. I would say if you are doing one competition every month or every 2 months in a B school, you will learn more than the curriculum itself. And that's what I have learned from these cases because the case competitions do not only concentrate towards one function or one domain of the business. They are generally diverse. Your approaches are diverse, your solutions are also diverse. So if you really want to learn something, uh, it's it's one of the most important things, and also it's something not you cannot count as a wastage of time or just passing of time. It's actually a proper utilization of time. So I remember all four of us have started since 2019 July. This is the same team which goes in every competition. We have lost around 7 to 8 competitions straight in the first year, and now we are on a streak of around same 7 to 8. So yeah, it's all the learning curves which we have followed all through these competitions, and all those people who say that case competitions are a matter of luck or it's all about how many teams are participating in that event which will decide whether you will win or not. It's actually not. It's all about learning scale. Um, how much do you use what you learned in the previous one and implement in the next one? So even after winning ace, we will be continuing doing more competitions just because we are not there for PPIs, PPOs, or cash prizes. It's just a passion which has been created after joining the B school.
That's excellent, Manadeep. I think it's very critical for all of us to point this out here that case study competitions are a very good form of exposure. They give you the practical experience of what you learn at these schools. And if you're not participating in them, it just goes to say that you're not going to get a good idea of how the corporate industry works. It gives you a very good picture of that. And the point that you mentioned, that if you only participate in these corporate competitions, you're going to learn a lot more than you do in these schools. I think that's very important, and that's very critical for all of us to highlight right now at this point, that even though you are sitting at your places participating virtually, it is very important for you to participate in these corporate competitions. Thank you so much for sharing such crucial advice, Manavi. On a closing note, team, I would like you to give some advice to the ones who will be participating in the future editions of Amazon Customer Excellence Challenge. How should they step into the competition?
So I think, as the name suggests, customer excellence, right? And one of the 14 values or principles that Amazon works with, it has customer obsession at the top. So I think that is something which you should obviously focus on. I remember the feedback that, so out of the 9 panelists that Manav talked about, the panel who was announcing our names, they mentioned that, you know, we sort of hit the bullseye. CFO of Amazon India, again, all big shots, heads of their own verticals. So he says that we hit the bullseye, and which was customer obsession. And all our solutions were driven towards customers. The name itself is, so customer excellence is something which you should focus on. So everything that you talk about, it should be focused on customer. You should be obsessed with them. That is something which is, I think, the most important. The other thing is, and this sort of happened for us because we come from a very diverse, like I said, very diverse education pedigree and work experience. That is something which really helped us. So whenever you're participating in competitions like these, wherein, you know, you need to be very exhaustive in terms of the kind of solutions that you give. You need to have a diverse team. So that is something which is very important. I know that, you know, it helps you a lot if, let's say, you only work with your friends. And for our case, it was easy because we were friends before we started participating in case competitions, and we are a diverse team. But even if you can't participate with friends, try to have a diverse team. That is the second thing which I can probably think of. The third thing is, you have to focus on quality over quantity in cases like Amazon. So you can't really, you know, dazzle them with animation and stuff like that. They prefer actual work, and that is something which we got to know. So Manav talked about talking to sources and getting their feedback. These were the mentors which were allotted to us in the phase 2. So Amazon gives us mentors from their own who are working with Amazon as such. And then if you're not utilizing their time, if you're not, you know, getting feedback and thinking that whatever we've documented, it's good enough, you're wrong. Because you've not practically seen the world, right? So you don't know how this will be implemented, how is it being perceived by people. You would obviously like your document, but it's important to get feedback as well. So I think these are the 3 points which I could think of. If anybody wants to add up.
Yeah, I would just like to add about the document, as Manav, emphasized on it a lot. I think Amazonians are very particular about their documents. So make sure it is very simple, very clear, to the point. And if there's any other information that you would like them to know, add it in the appendix. Don't leave it out of it. Don't think that you will be able to discuss it. You might not get that chance. So add everything that you know, add it in the appendix, cover the FAQs, and make the document as simple and understandable as it can be.
That is an excellent piece of advice. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing your valuable insights of the competition and of how you made it to the end and how you won the coveted trophy. Thank you so much for being with us today for this session. It was great. It was a pleasure talking to you and your team and about knowing your story. It was amazing. Thank you so much. We wish you the best for all your future endeavors, and we wish that this team wins a lot more laurels and wins a lot more corporate competitions this year. All the best to this team. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe, stay home, and take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.